Hi, my name is Carla Teixeira Lopes. I'm Portuguese. I teach at the University of Porto and my research institution is in ESCTEC. I will be doing a short presentation about a work conducted by Paulo Santos under my supervision. This work is entitled Generating Query Suggestions for Cross-Language and Cross-Terminology Health Information Retrieval. I will start by the context and motivation of this work. Health information retrieval is one of the most popular activities online. In this figure, extracted from Eurostat, we can see that the proportion of Europeans using the internet for seeking health information retrieval, health information, is growing year after year. We can also see that, lately, in average, more than half of the Europeans do this type of search. The reality is not much different in the United States. This study from 2013 shows us very similar proportions, and also say us that around 77% of the online searches start on a search engine. Despite this growing tendency, people are not always successful in this type of search. One of the problems is associated with the terminology gap that exists between professionals and consumers. This affects not only query formulation, but also the understanding of the documents retrieved by search engines. Our previous work has shown us that multilingual query suggestions in lay and medical scientific terminology improve health information retrieval by lay people. Taking this into account, we have developed Health Suggestions, that is an extension for Google Chrome that suggests queries in both types of terminologies and in both languages. This extension was built using a very simple strategy based on consumer health vocabulary. This is a vocabulary that connects everyday health words to technical terms used by healthcare professionals. And for each concept, it stores the best way to express the concept for a lay audience and the same for a professional audience. To improve this system, we are now proposing and evaluating other strategies for query suggestion. We implemented several methods, and these methods now use multi-concept recognition to detect medical concepts. This was not done in the initial version of Health Suggestions, and now we are also moving to other vocabularies or vocabularies other than consumer health vocabulary. We are now using information from the UMLS. That is a knowledge base that aggregates multiple thesauri of the medical domain, each composed by concepts related to health, their names, and relationships between them. This is our overall approach. Basically, as we can see in the middle line, we can see that the initial query is translated into English. Then its concepts are identified. Then for each of these concepts, we select synonyms in lay and medical scientific terminology, and then we merge synonyms and we translate the final suggestion to the original language. All the translations are done with Google Translator. We have tried out several methods. All the methods differ by the way to pick the related concepts from the used vocabularies. And the main differences are visible here in this table. In the first method, the CHV and UMLS preferred method, the selected synonyms are the CHV preferred and UMLS preferred expression for each concept. This is the only method that uses exclusively one vocabulary. All the other methods use all the UMLS, all the vocabularies from the UMLS to obtain an expression or a subset of expressions from which we select the lay and medico-scientific synonyms. The preferred atoms method uses the default preferred atom associated with the concept unique identifier. The all preferred synonym atoms retrieves a list of all English atoms that are the preferred names or a synonym in the various vocabulary of the UMLS. The all atoms method retrieves all the English atoms instead of extracting only the preferred and synonym ones. And to explore other atoms associated with the concept, we have also tried out the method all atoms plus child parent same relations. This method identifies all English atoms associated with a concept and then retrieves atoms related to the first one through parent-child same relationships. Finally, the broader narrow concepts method recovers broader and narrower atoms that are directly connected with the initial identified concept instead of looking for atoms associated with the concept. To evaluate, to compare the effectiveness of the developed methods, we used two test collections, one in English and the other one in Portuguese. We have indexed the documents in Elasticsearch, and to access the performance of the several suggestions, we have used measures that consider not only relevance but also understandability. This is the numbers associated with the English test collection provided by the Consumer Health Search Task in the 2018 edition of the CLEF Health Lab. The Portuguese collection was explicitly built for this work. We used English queries. The English queries provided by the 2015 and 2016 editions of the CLEF Health Lab. Then we translated them to Portuguese language with the collaboration of a medical doctor. And then these queries were used in a user study with 104 participants, where in each task they were asked to judge the relevance and understandability of the 30 top documents retrieved by 4 different search engines. At the end, we compiled the test collection that is now made available for the community at a data repository in INESTech. This is a summary of our results. Globally, we can see that methods with better performance are the ones that consider the preferred atoms of the different vocabularies from the UMLS, especially when this selection is made from the CHV. And we can see that the CHV preferred and UMLS preferred methods are in fact the two best methods. We can also see that using child relations does not help, and it's preferable to use broader terms, either parent or broader relations, because maybe that means that other designations for the same concept are being explored. In the English text collection, the use of word sense disambiguation does not improve the performance of the methods that use UMLS preferred terms, but it is useful when exploring relations. In the Portuguese collection, there are slightly better results when using word sense disambiguation, but this difference is so small that we conclude that it is better to disambiguate in methods that explore relations and the other way around in methods that pick the preferred terms. This table shows us the average number of seconds to generate a suggestion, and we can see that methods that consider the relationship of atoms take longer when compared to others. The use of relations from concepts should be preferred because it takes less time to process them and the performance is similar. In English, the use of word sense disambiguation helps to reduce the processing time because fewer atoms are retrieved and then less processing is needed afterward. And CHV, UMLS preferred are also the fastest methods since they only need to identify the concept and retrieve the corresponding preferred expression. In conclusion, we can see that the majority of the developed methods prove it to be better than the baseline, helping the user to retrieve more relevant and understandable documents. Using the UMLS preferred terms resulted in a better performance. The best method to suggest queries is the one that uses CHV UMLS preferred expressions to substitute the identified concepts. These methods are better in relevance, understandability, but also in generation time. Since the word disambiguation reduces the time that is necessary to generate new suggestions and slightly improves or does not affect the overall performance, we conclude it should be useful. It should be used. Thanks very much for your attention. You have my contact here on this slide. Please let me know if you have any doubts. Bye-bye.